season of Grandmasters thus far. But turning to the next series, Eddie versus lnguagehackr. lnguagehackr once again putting faith in Highlander Priest. Eddie with Galakron Priest.
Yeah, lnguagehackr really does like Highlander Priest a lot. He streams it, has a lot of success with it. Highlander Priest, I'm not really proud to admit it, was a deck that I used to climb a lot of ladder this season. And I just felt like I kept just somehow generating random ways to win. There's no clear win condition for these Priest decks. And a lot of times, if Zephyrus can't close it, you just got to hope Alexstrasza can, or just some of the Galakron stuff grinds them out. But there is a lot of really powerful opportunities, and with a good player who is laser focused, can really find ways to capitalize off of it. And it seems like lnguagehackr really has that comfort in specifically slower control decks. It feels like his stronger expertise. I'm sure he's perfectly capable of playing aggro matchups too, as we've seen in the previous patches where he's playing Demon Hunter. He seems perfectly fine on that. But it seems like his preference and comfort is on these kinds of style of decks. So it doesn't surprise me that he, along with Zalea, brought the Highlander Mage this weekend as some of the more unique classes that we'll see.
Yeah, he may be throwing his banned deck. He brought Quest Warlock, which was banned away. Some very interesting bans for this series. Hunter banned away from Eddie, the Highlander Hunter, and Warlock banned away from lnguagehackr. So for the first time in I don't know how long, one, there's no Demon Hunter on both sides, and two, both Warriors are available to be played, are not banned. I don't even know what makes sense anymore. It's a crazy series.
It's kind of dicey, but I mean, I personally think this spell Druid has. I personally believe that Druid, when it draws the absolute stone cold nuts, is probably the second or third best deck. Like, it's probably got like one of the most unstoppable hands in Hearthstone.
I agree.
Obviously there are some classes that can hit even harder. I think Warrior potentially being one of them.
Yeah.
It's just that Warrior can do a lot, and there's probably several ways you can say is the nut draw for Warrior. And then the third,
Quest Warlock.
Quest Warlock.
No, honestly, seriously, if you draw the nuts as Quest Warlock,
so?
you can't lose.
Really think so?
I do. I played it a lot. It just seems like it just can't lose if you draw the nuts.
I was gonna put out like Demon Hunter out there as another top 3, like unstoppable hands, but maybe I have to revise that since the patch.
Yeah, unstoppable.
Not really though. I don't know.
Well, they can, you know.
Wait, we're forgetting the obvious one, which is the Van.
Oh yeah, but if they have one removal for Van Cleave, then you just use all your resources, and then it's just Rogue
Shadow
again.
Death.
Yeah, so I don't know. We'll see. But a lot of respect being given to some of the biggest slower deck counters, with Quest Warlock and Highlander Hunter being banned, which makes sense since both players are playing some slow decks, Priest included. But we're going to start things off with maybe something a little bit more fast-paced, which is the Spell Druid versus Warrior.
Yeah, Spell Druid versus Warrior it feels like it's entirely predicated on Risky Skipper here. Again, we're going to see a little bit more Warrior action now that people are bringing Priests. And now Eddie has a ramp hand, but kind of lacking some more follow-up. He's got combo cards, Crystal Power and Innervate. So we'll see how lnguagehackr's opening here can translate to a win. It's a pretty solid opening hand, not going to lie. I think the Bloodblower Brute could be thrown back because Drew doesn't really play a lot of minions until Glowfly Swarm, and by then, unless you have Risky Skipper, you really need to answer it. Chooses to throw back the Bomb Wrangler and the Sky Raider as well, and that's for him trying to look for more optimistic mulligans, which I think you should definitely go for against the Druid. Remember, we talked about how important Risky Skipper is. Corsair Cash felt like a really good consolation prize, so you can potentially draw Ankar. And then Warmaw Challenger is just great because sometimes you draw the Warmaw Challenger hand, which is you get to copy with Bloodsworn Mercenary early, and then Druid just can't answer it.
Oh, ripped it.
Easy. Unless, okay. Yeah, not so great.
Well, I mean, that's also pretty unlucky for Eddie. He plays a minion light version. Not minion light, but he doesn't run Kael'thas, which is something that I've started to like more and more. APAC, a lot of players don't run Kael'thas in APAC. One, it makes your Fungal Fortunes more consistent to hit 3 spells. 2, in almost all situations outside of desperation, if you have cheap spells plus both 7-mana minions, Mount Seller and Kael'thas in hand, you're almost always going to want to play Exotic Mount Seller in that situation, unless, like I said, you absolutely need to find something specific that turn with Kael'thas. Like your payoff without playing Gift of the Wild, which most decks are cutting anyway, it's just not enough to warrant playing Kael'thas, I feel.
Right.
And so, a little bit unfortunate that he didn't pick up 3 spells there because, only 3 minions left in the deck with most of his decks still there. Quite rough.
Did you just say right rough?
Quite rough.
All right. Scooby-Doo. Blowfly Swarm here seems pretty easily punishable by the Risky Skipper. He did see that the Corsair Cache did not pick up a Anchor, or Ankar, to be more technically precise. And so what does Eddie do? If he chooses to go for the Glowfly Swarm and gets blown out, his hand is actually nothing. But if he passes, he's kind of doing a self-fulfilling prophecy. It's like, well, I would have nothing, but you still have nothing on the board. And you give Warrior free development. So it's tough, and this is exactly why we say that this matchup feels predicated on whether or not you draw risks. Because this is potentially a blowout here.
Still a lot of time left, though.
Yeah.
Spell Druid can do some crazy things, specifically with Ysera Unleashed as the game progresses.
Language Hacker attacks face, and Eddie knows what that means. No trade into a minion.
I'll show you who's boss.
Oh, yeah. And then Bomb Wrangler to help add some more meat to those bones. Sky Raider because it survives the Risky Skipper's careless driving. And now Eddie dies. He can't do anything. He has to cycle his wrath, and even then, he doesn't really remove power on the board significantly.
So he needs Overflow for turn 7.
Okay.
And then Ysera Unleashed, Iron Bark to protect himself. And then the turn after, draw all 7 portals. Or 6 portals because he has board space. And then they're all 8/8s.
Yeah, it's like 2 Skeletal Dragons and like 5 Deathwings.
Yeah. Oh, and then Nozdormu to make sure that Language Hacker doesn't have time to think about how to remove the board.
Ah, right. Nozdormu has been the enemy of Battle Rage decks since the dawn of Hearthstone.
Nozdormu is an enemy to Spell Druid. Because Dream Portal animations take forever.
Yes.
If you have a Nozdormu on board and you just overgrowth with Dream Portals in your deck, that's your whole turn. You have 0 time to react to anything else. It's infuriating, Dan.
I'm waiting for the day where people just bring Nozdormu as a counter to their opponent
To Ysera
playing
Unleashed.
slow. Yeah. The opponent's playing Ysera Unleashed and whatnot. Because while we were practicing, we didn't get to practice much this week, but considering our busy schedules. But during the practice session, DJ was like, I have no time during my turns because I'm losing so much of it from the Ysera portals.
Like, because you have to react to what it gives. Like, I was getting Evasive Worms, and I was like, okay, that changes my turn. And then if you get Malagos, obviously that changes your turn. You get a taunt, that changes your turn.
Yeah.
And actually, no matter when, the dream portals from the game client all resolve simultaneously, so the game knows which dragons are on board. So let's say you have an empty deck and you draw all 6 portals. Even if the last portal is Nozdormu, the rope starts burning immediately because the game already recognizes that Nozdormu is on board. You just have to wait for the animations to finish. And by the time you even see that Nozdormu is there, the rope's gone. Your turn is over. It's crazy.
It's pretty nutty.
Yeah.
But at the same time, does it even matter if you're not able to do anything?
No.
Eddie's hand is just a whole bunch of nothing.
Yep. You overgrowth here so that you can play more stuff next turn if you even draw anything good, which there's still a lot of not good things in his deck. Are some really good things in his deck. Overflow, Ysera, the second exotic Mount Seller. I'd even take Rising Winds at this point, just to draw further. But he is running out of time.
Time waits for no one. What?
I mean, Eddie's roping down every single turn, but I gotta admit, there's not really much to think about and what he can do. His best play is to overgrowth and hope that he just hits, but it's still gonna get a lot worse before it gets better here. Oh my goodness. Inner Rage and Rampage. lnguagehackr is gonna really quickly just evaluate. Is there any value in holding these cards
What now?
and taking it slower? Is there anything that he's not considering because his opponent's just passing? His opponent just keeps doing nothing.
For the war chief.
I don't think so, though.
Nah, just make a big thing.
Right. And this makes the most sense because he picks up Bloodsworn Mercenary that just copies. And I mean, this isn't lethal, but it's very close.
Very close.
Very close. And not to mention, there's still Boombot damage. So even if Eddie somehow sets up like the world's biggest taunt, there's a chance that he just dies anyways.
Yep.
Do it. Do it. Hit the Boombot. Hit the Boombot. Ah, he's just going to end the game. Druid just kind of pathetically whimpers its way out of the first game here of the series, and lnguagehackr gets a pretty free win. Not gonna lie, just that Druid didn't look like it did much. Druid might be the weakest deck of this format, TJ. We might see, or rather, this weekend.
I don't know. I feel like we saw only Empanizzado's Druid, which is different. And 2, I guess it's going up against some bad matchups, but there also are some really good matchups. Like I honestly think Druid is a great matchup into Priest right now. Played that matchup a ton, and I was beating Priest very consistently.
Monsanto lost earlier today with his Druid as well, so
yeah,
it just hasn't been doing well. It's been kind of struggling every series so far, and we'll see if he can turn it around. But for now, that brings us to our next intermission, and we're going to take a brief break. So when we come back, we're going to have the rest of this series between Eddie and lnguagehackr, so stay tuned. More Grandmasters action when we return.
Hearthstone Grandmasters is brought to you by T-Mobile. Rank up with America's largest 5G network. Switch to T-Mobile today.
My Hearthstone play is a product I need to sell.
Oh. It's gotta be catchy, right?
Huh. I actually have no clue what to say.
When people sub, I snap and say, "Welcome to the farm."
Welcome to the farm.
Yeah, they're part of the because they're on the farm. Welcome to Animal Farm. Welcome to the farm when they sub.
I will just say TTTT. Everyone can be as good as me.
The play from somebody who has never misplayed.
Be French, be good.
Getting rank 1 with Yarla.
You can't outvalue me.
Unity, precision, perfection. Like that very familiar Hearthstone card. Also broken. Just like my play.
Come for the stay for the rope.
Welcome back, everyone, to Hearthstone Grandmasters. Clearly, I'm playing with my hair a lot. It's kind of hard to get haircut and proper attention during these times. I hope everyone is at home, safe, drinking lots of water, and most importantly, washing their hands. And having fun, of course. You know, some people Hearthstone, so why aren't we having fun? So here we go. Going to game number 2, Language Hacker versus Eddie. The Highlander Priest is coming up. And I really like Highlander. I think that Highlander Priest in particular has a lot of strengths that the Galakrond Priest doesn't have, and that's primarily an opportunity to start closing the game. Galakrond Priest's primary win condition is waiting for your opponent to concede, while the Highlander Priest does have some opportunities to close the moment you land a big board. If you do have a Dragon Queen Alexstrasza or a Murazan that swung the state of the game, Zephrys can close it out, and it's a small difference, but it's a significant one.
Well, I mean, having those cards in your deck also means that your priest opponent also is likely to get one at some point or another in the game, with how many Thought Steals plus Madame Lazul's, plus the Envoy of Lazul's that are played throughout an average priest game. But we'll see if we're going to come down to a priest mirror.
I don't know.
I sure hope not.
I think Galakrond Priest is way better at dealing with the Druid as well. But maybe that's just because, you know, I'm lucky enough to draw cards like Zephrys a lot of the times. If you don't draw Zephrys, are you just kind of a sitting duck a lot of times?
I mean, you also just have, like, Zephrys is oftentimes in this matchup, at certain points, interchangeable for a Breath of the Infinite, which you'd run 2 of in normal Galakrond Priest.
Right.
A lot of it comes down to, like, you know, answering that first big push onto the board. I felt very good about this matchup. Granted, Eddie's deck list is a little different from the one I was testing.
Oh! Sorry, he just found an overgrowth. That's hilarious.
It's quite good. It's quite good.
Are you kidding me? That's super good. Unless I'm missing something. Is it just not that good because his hand isn't super impressive with it?
I don't know. So the matchup's tough from both sides because I never felt like my opponent matching me in mana was why they were able to match me anywhere else, right? I felt like as a druid playing against any priest, really, the biggest thing was tempo. Can the priest stick minions and keep sticking minions?
Right.
Because then I have to change my plays. Like, if he spends his next turn overgrowthing, sure, he's matching in mana. But the biggest thing about that choice specifically right there is the other options are just terrible, right? Like, I think if he was given the option of overgrowth and exotic mount seller, he might even choose exotic mount seller. Because that was another card that was just very hard to deal with. But obviously, matching in mana as opposed to having a Wrath or a Bog Beam in your hand, way better to match your opponent in mana. Wrath is like a worse penance.
I wonder.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it a little bit more, and I can't think of a better card than Overgrowth on curve here for Madame Lazul. I think that is the best thing. A lot of times these highlighter decks struggle with their curve, and Overgrowth navigates through it. And like, you can just play Dragon Queen Alexstrasza. It's like, it's such a legitimate threat that the Druid has to answer.
Yeah.
And if they don't have that preemptive board, let's say they have to react by playing Glowfly Swarm and Soul of the Fars and everything like that, Gift of the Wild, then you get to like push through. Like, Zephrys can help you get that lethal like we're talking about. Like, I'm at here into stuff. This is bad news for Eddie. Very, very bad news.
It sure is. He's just gonna die.
Yeah, and you're not. That's what I was like thinking. Like, the Overgrowth here has to be the actual best card here for Language Hacker to discover, and the best part is for him is that he can play this Murzon on curve if Eddie doesn't do anything, and if he does do stuff, he can just react with Zephrys. He's got both the proactive and the reactive play set.
Which means that, Dan,
What to do?
No Priest Mirror.
no Priest Mirror.
High five,
Woo!
DJ.
Woo!
Digitally can join our hands together.
I missed.
That's okay. I did the thing where I went past your hand and stopped.
Time waits for no one.
Even better. Oh yeah.
So how does Murzon look here?
Well, so it'll still make depending on the order, right? Like each one of these. Okay, Soul Mirror's is better.
Wow.
Soul Mirror's way better because he summons them, so they're. Oh no, wait.
They're 4 health.
Yeah, they're 4 health.
They're 3 4s.
They're 3 4s. So he just sticks it. That's insane.
Yeah, they're just like, right, this looks good to me. I mean, yeah, I think he's like trying to make sure to. You always had that voice in your head just to like make sure to double check. I love it. Eddie can't believe it. The 4 health. It's devastating this Druid. Another thing that wouldn't be possible had Language Hacker not played Overgrowth.
Dude.
Absolute insanity. You push, right?
Sure. You can do whatever you want.
I guess he has lethal set up either way here because
Yeah.
Eddie does not play swipe.
Yep.
And at best, Eddie would be able to just clear it off with Moonfires, Hero Power, Crystal Power. Doesn't have the Starfall. And Eddie was so he was so keen on playing this Ysera Unleashed to get the portals in, and now
Honestly, he didn't even have like a great way to capitalize on the Ysera. So let's say Language Hacker didn't have Soul Mirror there.
right.
And he had to play Murazon, which still credible play. He still gets a board full of, depending on the order, maybe even 4-5, or no, they still would have been 3 5s if Power of the Wild was played after. If it was played before,
It would have been hard to deal with because Eddie has the only proactive stuff with the Wraths.
Yeah.
He's gonna go for it, but he is super dead. I believe Bloodlust here is lethal, right?
I didn't even bother counting.
12,
Yes, but yes.
14. Then there you go. Highlander
All right.
Priest is legit, and I think it's because of this card.
Language Hacker linked me his stats for Highlander Priest. This was last week. It was insane.
Just confused.
He was floating like a almost a near 80% win rate in a very significant sample size. Not against just like random ladder decks, but against matchups that he knew he would face. And it didn't have fine. It hasn't had the greatest showing, but like on paper, I get stats from a lot of different players. You know, we had the argument last week about like Zoo Warlock and people linking me stats for 3 different Zoo Warlock decks, all thinking they're the best. But looking at those Highlander Priest stats, I was like, there's no way. It can't be that good. And now that a lot of the other powerful decks have been dropped in power, Highlander Priest just can give you the business. Language Hacker does just that. We might be having two quick series on our hand because Language Hacker has the Mage left. Which
I
has some decent matchups.
And Mage is a class that can, well, one, bamboozle a lot of people. We're talking about Puzzle Box of Yaxaron, always giving you a chance. You know what,
Bamboozle,
TJ? I
the
take
secret.
it all back. The absolute stone cold nuts. The best deck in the game is Highlander Mage.
Okay, so best possible
yes.
potential opening.
Yes.
Is
You get
Highlander
to
Mage.
pick all of the cards, and you get to pick the outcome of what
The
happens.
outcomes of the randomly generated cards.
Yes, because
All right.
Puzzle Box of Yaxaron is silly.
I mean, if we're going down list line, then there's got to be a deck that can do it faster, right?
Is there though? Because turn 1, Mage gets to pick the reactive card to your proactive play. Turn 2, they get to Zephyrs. Turn 3, they ramp. Turn 4, they win.
What about Rogue doing the exact same thing, but also having a 10/10 Edwin or before that? So you
Right.
can't. I don't know.
But
I
Mage
don't
would
know.
just do the same thing, but Rayafrost.
We should play a game of theoretical Hearthstone.
We've done this before, TJ.
I know.
Where we both get to pick and the exact outcome of what we want.
Yeah. So what's funny is I can't remember. It might have been you because it was at your apartment, but I don't remember it being you. I think it was just I was there because I went to your apartment with your old roommate a lot. We played 10-card Hearthstone. We wrote out our ideal 10-card deck on pieces of paper. It might have been Chalky, actually. We wrote out 10...
Yeah, it doesn't sound like with me. Also,
yeah,
I don't remember the last time you came over to my apartment, TJ.
No, this was 5 years ago. Legendary Series. days.
Back
Yeah.
when we worked on the ESL Legendary Series.
Yeah, and we wrote out 10 cards on pieces of paper. Like, we built a 10-card Hearthstone deck with current cards. And then we played it out, like, as if we were drawing the cards. they weren't allowed to have random effects. You had to build a 10 card deck that didn't have random effects because we couldn't settle those with just pieces of paper.
Yes.
And the metagame for that one-on-one 10 deck theoretical Hearthstone was
intense. That was like a tavern brawl, right? Where you get to pick like top 2 or top 3, right? Those are the tavern brawls where you get to pick like 3 cards and that's what you just draw. It's interesting to stretch to 10 where you're like kind of guaranteed the order. But either way, if you could ask for the ideal 3-card combination from Eddie, you'd be hard pressed to find something better. Except lnguagehackr does have several ways he can answer this. For one, Rolling Fireball actually does take out a pretty decent amount of this, although I guess it stops at 8 damage, so that's annoying.
Shadow Flame feels like the cleanest way. Coin Zephyr Shadow Flame.
Mm-hmm. That is good.
You could also go well, nah, this is kind of risky. Thinking like Malagos and hit Frost Nova. Actually, you don't even need a coin for yeah, you don't need a coin. You can attack first with Mana Saber. And then
there's also the play of just playing a card 2 defender. I think that's one of the weaker plays here.
Yeah, because then Soul of the Forest comes down and things just get weird.
Punishes you pretty severely.
Whoa!
Yeah, so this was my first initial instinct because it doesn't feel very scary if you just answer this the Glowfly Swarm. I also think it's worth holding on to this attack from the Escape Mana Saber. A lot of times the Highlander Mage does struggle with mana expenditure because the hand is so heavy. So I think it is worth sometimes thinking about whether or not you want to actually save this attack.
Yeah.
And now lnguagehackr does have to kind of fight a little bit more honestly with this curve here. Malagos might be able to find an answer to this. Polymorph is a good option. Flame Strike's a really good one. 1 mana Frost Nova is pretty amazing.
I'm leaning towards the Flame Strike. It's expensive, but the Dream Portals is probably going to be the thing that threatens you the most this game. The awkward part about this, though, and maybe even a benefit for Eddie, depending on how these portals get drawn, is that by playing Ysera Unleash early, he won't be able to have one big board swing. He won't be able to have like this turn where he just draws all of his portals. Most likely. Now there's still a case for him to draw all his portals in one turn.
If we think about it though, lnguagehackr's hand already costs almost 50 mana. And you're adding the Flame Strike, it's just hard to play. I do understand the point though. I actually do agree because most dragons top out around 8 health unless they're 412. Oh my goodness. So in a way, lnguagehackr was kind of hoping Eddie would draw all the portals there.
Yeah.
And Eddie might make that wish come true.
Looks like I'm here just in time.
What is happening?
But the thing is, Eddie gets to play Soul of the Forest. Wow. Oh my goodness.
He drew 5 of his portals.
Oh, and because it casts when drawn, yeah, exactly. So he kept going over and over, and now he does have a backup plan through the Mount Cellar. Eddie has to navigate. Also, what happens if his opponent starts playing Frost Nova and developing? And I think that's where the Soul of the Forest comes into play.
It's pretty insane to draw with that many cards still left in deck to draw 5 portals.
I gotta say, 1 mana Frost Nova seems way better. Just to help give you the opportunity to get to that Puzzle Box to Yogg-Saron on turn. You Flame Strike the board, you still have this Ysera surviving plus all the 2/2s.
Yeah, he definitely can't afford to Flame Strike here.
Right. So you can manipulate the Zephyrs to give you a Frost Nova.
What to do? What to do?
I will crush your delusions of grandeur.
Your wish is my
I mean, Zephyrs is great. It's in his name, but he's not this great. He can't actually deal with everything. And now Eddie can just pick apart the board. Oh, wasted Dream Portal, though.
He only has one portal left in his deck with 15 cards. It's like he just shuffled all the portals right on top of his deck.
Yeah, pretty absurd.
Oh, man.
I mean, he did draw a bunch of cards, too, but that was very unlikely to specifically come out in that order.
Yeah.
If I'm Eddie, how much do I want to commit to this? Language Hacker has two opportunities here. You can draw a Blizzard or a Frost Nova. Actually, you can draw Dragoncaster as well. 3 out of 17 cards in this deck is what he's looking for right now.
Yep.
Also, if Eddie kills his Solarian Prime, there's a possibility that Language Hacker just draws that.
Yeah. But if he doesn't draw any of those things...
Time waits for no one.
Ugh. You Flame Strike, clear off what you can, and then hope you don't die to Savage Roar? That
might be what he has to do.
True. Very true.
And I guess it kind of goes back to a couple decisions. You know, are cards like Frost... While Flame Strike is great, again, I'm not knocking on... I don't think it's a bad choice. Was it the best choice? Wow, what a pickup here from Language Hacker. Huge draw. Now he gets to play the Puzzle Box of Yogg-Saron. So a fist pump in the air. Language Hacker has the opportunity to potentially steal this game from the Druid.
Puzzle Box of Yogg-Saron is not like a guaranteed clear, especially when there's this much stuff on board. So he's fist pumping, but he still hasn't...
He's not out of the woods.
Yeah. He's out of the woods. He still hasn't done anything yet. He's just delaying what will be the inevitable unless Puzzle Box bails him out or he draws exactly the Amazing Reno, which would be just the nuts. And Eddie has many more waves beyond this, too. And maybe that's where the Flame Strike comes in. If he bails himself out of this situation and then Eddie reloads with Mount Cellar.
Yeah. I like this attack,
not
by
the
the
intended
way.
use.
I like this attack, by the way, with the Solarian, because now he has an opportunity to shuffle that in. Also, if he does play the Puzzle Box, there's a chance he accidentally... Oh, no.
What is happening? That's all of his portals.
Yes. Bye portals. Eddie should know what's possible here. First of all, what's in your mind when this happens? The Amazing Arena.
Yep.
And even if the Amazing Reno doesn't come out, Puzzle Box. Well, not that Amazing Reno, the other Amazing Reno. Language Hacker can't also... he has to also not play the coin this turn. Or rather, he can't coin Caligos into it. So he has to just go straight for the Puzzle Box. Here we go! 10 chances. Woo! All right, already
good start.
Super good.
Good start. All right, keep it coming.
What?
Uh-oh, tracking.
Why is this hilarious? 4 more.
Snipe.
He is very much holding a dragon. And last one. Wow. Clears a big chunk of the board, freezes it, develops a secret, draws a couple cards. Pretty much a little bit of everything here. However, there's still a lot of board presence from Eddie.
Yeah, he also tracked.
Right. We don't know what he tracked over.
Yeah, it could have been Amazing Reno.
Right.
Which could be quite the detriment.
Yeah, which would be very bad.
Yeah. And this board is still pretty threatening, right? He still has 4 Soul Force minions that are quite large.
Yes. Eddie buffs for Explosive Trap.
Mhm.
Also sees no pressure plate. This is still a very threatening board, so knows that Language Hacker still has to deal with it. But the second Power of the Wild, if it dies to AoE like Malagos' Flame Strike, I don't think Eddie has the power to win anymore. Or rather, he doesn't have this. Doesn't have as much bite to his the bark. Ooh. Flame Strike plus a. Oh wait, he's overloaded by 1. I thought you could play the Frozen Shadow Weaver.
He can kill off 1, and then he dies to Savage Roar. Oh no, he doesn't, because the middle minion didn't have Solar Force on it.
Right.
So he's still alive to anything. But Flame Strike, that's a big tool.
It is a big tool, but we get the parcel of Yogg-Saron still with the Solarian Prime.
I mean, there's a ton of stuff still left for Language Hacker to bail himself out, right?
Right.
He has Caligos if he really needs to find some type of AoE.
Right.
Reno in his deck to, well, potentially if he didn't track over it. The Solarian Prime, Dragon Queen Alexstrasza can also be a bailout. That's probably the most desperate one.
Right. Another full board.
And Eddie did not get a Zixer Prime.
Eddie probably just going to save the rest of his resources for
Second
another Mount Seller push. Because I think Eddie says that this is a good board, but it's not game-winning. Just yet. If he pushes the 4 damage, though, he puts his board down to 14, and there's more than 14 showing. However, maybe Language Hacker doesn't even have to go for anything significant. Reno the Relicologist cleans up a big portion of this board, and then Bone Wraith. So if Language Hacker wants to get greedy, totally can.
That's pretty greedy, yeah.
Whoa, here we go.
Because there's 21 health on board.
True, it could all go wrong if you hit Mount Seller a few too many times.
Yeah. And he's just like, I hate my life right now.
What?
He got Frost Nova again. Wait, he started off with the exact same 2 spells. He started with the puzzle box. He started off with Frost Nova and Frostbolt, right?
Yeah. Also, Eddie has more summon potential. He found, what is it, Chervala? The summons arcane elementals every 3 spells you play.
Yep. But his board's frozen. He can't even trade anything in.
I know. It's so funny because that would be a great card for Spell Druid. That's just like good in the deck.
Yeah.
What to do?
And he doesn't want to really use much removal here because then he doesn't have a reload with Exotic Mount Seller. Number 2.
I wonder.
I don't know. Mage doing mage things. Gonna hedge a little bit, at least try and keep as much health as he can on board. I still don't know how many spells I'm willing to ditch here, though, just in case things get removed. He's got a good read that there is no Amazing Reno, because that would have for certain come out in the past turn. So maybe he thinks that this board that he has right now is enough for him to finish the game, because Language Hacker's kind of been trying for some desperation attempts here. Counting the health on board, if he takes the trade over the Augmented Porcupine, there's still 12, 15, 20, 23 health on board. Reno doesn't really make too much of a dent. We're in Caligo's territory
Oh
now.
my goodness.
How about another puzzle box?
What other shenanigans can you throw this way?
Uh-oh.
Okay, so
Polymorph still leaves you... Oh, man.
probably not polymorph.
I wonder.
What would it be then? Are you
I
deep
guess
freezing
you're
here
right.
instead to try and have
Yeah.
try and develop a little bit?
I think it's
So-
deep freeze.
It's also like Conjurer's Calling.
Ah,
That seems more risky.
yeah. I think you trade Assurance's Porcupine. Oh,
he's going for
a desperate
Doomsayer.
Doomsayer, but that's not going to do it. And so what's interesting is that Language Hacker was playing with the understanding that he thinks Eddie had the damage from hand, but he really didn't.
No, he didn't. He was guaranteed it though. He knew he had overflows or
Right.
not guaranteed. His bottom
like,
three
almost
cards.
guaranteed.
Yeah, his bottom 3 cards would have to have been exactly overflow, Savage Roar. That would have to be actually no, because he had a Rising Winds left in his deck as well. It was guaranteed. It was guaranteed that he could have Savage Roar. But that's a tough one because it felt like he had all these opportunities to bail himself out, but the puzzle box wasn't quite enough. The Slayer Prime wasn't quite enough. Bottom time, but not having the amazing Reno to just poof everything away and start fresh.
That's right. Maybe he tracked over it.
Maybe he tracked over it, yeah. He still had 10 cards in his left at the end of the game, so got through a significant portion of his deck, but still could have been in that bottom half. But did get bailed out in some certain moments with like the Blizzard off the top. So, but Eddie puts a point on board. Important for him.
Huge. And now we go into potentially Warrior and Priest. The Mage does, in my opinion, better versus the Priest than it does against the Warrior. I mean, pretty sure that's not a very controversial opinion, but let's see what the data says post-patch here. And for the most part, it's like Mage is actually very favored against a lot of the Priests, so it seems like that's definitely what is on the mind of Language Hacker. But at the same time, we don't have much data going on to the match, right? Because there's only a few hundred games of each so far right now.
Yeah.
So
according to the data, Mage is very favored against Warrior.
Everything except some kind of bomb package Warrior, and even against the Enrage type Warriors, it's not super favored. It's favored against every other Warrior though.
Yeah.
And we know that there's a lot of blends.
All right. Priest versus Mage. Let's see it. This one can get close because late game they can match value for value. But the Mage value is usually easier to execute, more consistent, and packs a bigger punch. The problem becomes if Mage has to start playing reactively at a certain point in the game. Because then Priest can stick minions, they can use their spells to keep their minions sticking.
Well, I mean, this is still looking like a hand that Mage still wants because a bunch of card draw, even though it looks kind of empty right now. And Eddie's just going to play very reactive. He has the Galakron Control Priest. The thing is, if you don't kill him with the puzzle box, I've seen some Murazons just kill him right back with their own puzzle box. So might end up being a clowny game, TJ.
So that's the key turning point that we're looking for in this matchup.
Oh, yeah.
Is the puzzle box into opponent puzzle box.
Right. Which is why I think that it might be correct to not play puzzle box in this matchup. Don't do it.
I wonder.
I mean, that's assuming you're not good enough at Hearthstone to win just because you played Puzzle Box. And obviously, it's just being facetious. You're not supposed to. There's very few rules in Hearthstone that the words always and never ring true.
I wonder.
So you always have to kind of approach things situationally. A very common trend is when you ask for a certain line of play, the answer is it depends. And I think that is a good thing, one, because it kind of shows you that the state of a lot of matches are fluctuating. And that there's a lot of different things you have to understand. There's a pretty significant knowledge gap that you overcome so that you can like achieve legend or good results or high level play. But of course, it's a little bit frustrating when you're trying to like consider cards like Puzzle Box of Yaxron and whatever stuff that Mage can generate, because the game will constantly be evolving based off what Mage ends up getting off of all their stuff, what they Conjurers call it, what Caligos gives them, what spells the amazing Reno casts every turn.
Yeah. The most frustrating thing for me when I play this matchup from the pre-side is I feel like I die an absurd amount of the time just from a Solarian Prime played on an empty board playing burn spells to my face.
That's true. Solarian
It
Prime
happens
targets
so
the enemy
much.
if possible.
Yeah, and when played on the empty board, it has spell damage as well, so you get one fireball to face. It completely changes your game plan because you have to deal with a 7/7 and worry about burn. It's crazy. So it's a really tough matchup for Priest. They have to. I mean, it's a tough matchup for both decks, right? Because you mentioned how everything that the Mage does, like all of these cards that they play, that you can't determine how to play around them until they happen. Priest is kind of the same way, except they can't determine how they win the game until it happens, right? Like they usually don't piece together a win condition until the turn before they win. They just are trying to bide their time and control to save the game until they eventually do. That's a scary dynamic between one deck that doesn't know how they're going to win and another deck that kind of knows how they're going to win, but also doesn't really know until they start playing their cards later in the game. Like, Demon Hunters always know how they're going to win. They're going to play early minions, they're going to play some weapons, they're going to tempo and burst you out of the game. With these two decks, it's just not the case. Right. And the early game, this is just kind of a wrestle back and forth for board control. It's when we start getting to the power plays a little bit later on is when things start to get a little crazy. But it's expected to kind of be at parity once you get to this stage.
Minions, take to the streets.
Eddie just has to kind of extend very carefully onto the board. There's not much he can do here. Ooh. That's pretty good with the deep freeze.
Mm-hmm.
Ready for a show?
And even if your opponent had a souped-up Galakron from that would eliminate 2 minions, chances are he's going to stick something onto the board. So Eddie, with all these reactive cards,
Thoughtsteal was proactive, I guess.
yeah, Thoughtsteal to get the puzzle box into your hand.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, Language Hacker still has some big power cards left in his deck. Thoughtsteal is pretty high value. The game will usually go on long enough for like Zephyrus or Dragon Queen Alexstrasza to be active as well.
The only thing is that this is a sizable enough board that you probably have to consider soul mirroring here.
Yeah. Or at the very least... No. I don't know. I was thinking maybe you could... the taunt being in the way makes it awkward. I was thinking you could like Shield of Galakron Shadow Madness, but again, taunt makes it awkward. And this actually does put some pressure on Language Hacker because now there's water elementals on this opponent's side that he can heal up and start value trading. So,
yeah, but the Amazing Reno cleans up everything. Or not the Amazing Reno. Well, Amazing Reno does clean up everything, but he doesn't have the mana to play it. Reno the Relicologist is, I guess, evil twin. It's the same character, but if one was evil and one was good and they were twins, I would assume the Relicologist is more of the evil one. But we all know Reno is neither good nor evil. He's just neutral. And yet we depend on him solely to overthrow the League of Evil. Eddie finds Mind Flayer. So what can we do with that? Not really anything in this position.
yeah, it's not super high value. He could use it on like Reno.
Well, I mean, a 3-mana 3/3 summon a 4/6 Punt Death Rattle is pretty high value, but it's just
But it can get way higher value.
when you start looking at like Caligos and other like really absurdly powerful cards, it feels like you should save it. Ooh! Oh my goodness, there are some really good cards.
He needs to play. Oh, I don't even know.
The Reno, the
Okay,
Reno.
Amazing Reno. He needs to play Lazul Scheme, or else he's going to burn a card. Okay. Got it off.
Wow, this game just got real weird.
Oh, man. When both players have the Amazing Reno up, this is going to be a Clown Fiesta.
Oh, yeah.
I don't even know.
This is a Tavern Brawl at this point, TJ. It's just random spells being casted every single turn.
Eddie's going to use that just as a one-turn removal and then look to play his Galakron immediately after.
Ooh, I like the Malagos Intellect here. I don't think you're really going to struggle on removal. Oh, but
Fatigue is...
Yeah. It's very likely that your opponent has Caligos.
I wonder.
They're offered 3 cards, and or sorry, not Caligos, the Amazing Reno.
Time runs out.
And if you don't have the ability to end the game, you're just going to die to fatigue. Then you're left with Mage versus Warrior, and all of a sudden, Mage would be the one getting reverse swept if it loses that game. Some pretty significant implications heading into the second half. Act 2 of this game, TJ. There's 3 acts. This was the conclusion of Act 1. A fiesta.
But players hit 10 mana crystals. Conclusion of Act 1.
That's right. Conclusion of Act 1.
All right.
I must consider.
There's just so many options, and they all seem good. Amazing Reno's probably too valuable for this situation. Because there's not a huge amount of power on board. He's still at 30. He's not in threat of dying to even an Alex Straza from Language Hacker.
Yeah, I kind of like just playing a threat like Malagos. Maybe he knows Dormu as well.
It would be his whole turn. Shadow Madness does have some value in this situation, but not a ton.
Oh yeah, interesting. Interesting. Eddie's going for a lean approach because he wanted to play Thoughtsteal. Finds Solarian, and he does find Alex Straza. I mean, Priest getting to steal a bunch of Priest cards makes it pretty annoying. This is a grindy game.
What to do? What to do?
And so Language Hacker does have an opportunity here. I think Power of Creation is worth thinking about because we can squeeze in a hero power and efficiently trade onto the board. Also can just kind of load up major stats here with the Twilight Drake. Oh, interesting.
Okay.
Okay, so if Eddie plays the Amazing Reno here, he's giving up his own Mind Flare Death Rattle ability. Got it.
Yeah. Also, Language Hacker can easily follow up with Dragon Queen Alexstrasza.
Exactly. He needs to put just enough pressure to make Eddie feel like he has to play this Amazing Reno. But we all know that this Priest deck is a ton of removal constantly.
No. You thinking what I'm thinking, Dan?
Oh, yeah.
Tortollan Pilgrim.
I'm thinking today is Language
Puzzle
Hacker's
box.
birthday. And my buddy Yogg-Saron is the bartender. Aww. Praise Netherwing.
Emerald Explorer also good.
Right.
Pick up another Dragon Queen Alexstrasza. Well, Azure Explorer can pick up Dragon Queen Alexstrasza. Brightwing could also pick up Dragon Queen Alexstrasza.
Let's just establish the fact that Dragon Queen Alexstrasza is a possibility.
Yes. Now, Dragon Queen Alexstrasza can no longer get Dragon Queen Alexstrasza. I remember when it...
At least not direct.
No, not directly. It used to be able to.
Right.
They had to change that.
Do a second degree association.
Yeah. And
You know what
also...
we should do, TJ?
What?
There should be a game in Hearthstone where it's 6 degrees till Dragon Queen Alexstrasza. You know how like everything can lead back to Kevin Bacon?
Yeah.
Everything can lead to Dragon Queen Alexstrasza. Anyways, continue on.
All right. How do you get there from Wolf Rider?
Wolf Rider to the face.
Okay.
And the only out they have is that Dragon Queen Alexstrasza.
You can sit for any card. He played Feral Cat on one.
Okay, Wolf Rider goes in Chardzu. Chardzu removes the Evil Genius. Evil Genius gives you Draconic Lackey, Dragon Queen Alexstrasza. Boom. Dragon Queen, quote, Kevin Bacon, Alexstrasza.
Primordial Explorer can also pick up Dragon Queen Alexstrasza.
Skeletal Dragon can also give Dragon Queen
Okay,
Alexstrasza.
yeah, you're right. We can.
Caligos, what can we discover off of this? There's just not enough threat being generated. Eddie doesn't feel the need to play anything dramatic here. The thing is, if I'm Language Hacker, I'm actually thinking about the Amazing Reno sometime soon. Because if Amazing Reno casts any card draw spells, then Deep in Fatigue, I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
Okay, now does this warrant removal? The thing is, Eddie also has his Galakron in hand. He could totally just remove Galakron and then play the Amazing Reno. Or vice versa. He could play the Amazing Reno and then offset the random spells that he probably doesn't want by getting the Galakron hero power.
That seems like the better of the two options.
Yeah. Yeah, it does.
Still a water elemental in this Mind Flayer.
I must
Not the biggest of deals in the world, but hey, it's
Yeah.
there.
True.
He still knows that there's.
He's gonna do it. He's doing it the other order. I mean, keeping that Amazing Reno also under wraps will constantly give Language Hacker some hesitation, but by now, I think Language Hacker has a read that it's the Amazing.
Yeah.
More Explorer finds. Dormo just really wants to be played this series. Astromancer Solarian. He actually wants to kill his own Solarian, so I think Crazy
Yeah.
Netherwing is good here.
Yeah. He still knows that there's a Shadow Madness left. He's seen one, but and he plays 2 naturally in the deck, and there's always a chance to find it from like Sethic Billweaver or Renew.
I believe Language Hacker is very close to guaranteeing that he can play Tortilla and Pilgrim to get the puzzle box of Yogg-Saron.
Yeah, I mean, he's actually running out of spells, period.
I wonder.
Right, but Dragon Queen Alexstrasza, though.
Yeah. I'm sure Puzzle Box can definitely give you a Dragon Queen Alexstrasza.
Yeah.
Waxmancy.
Lots of Renos.
Waxmancy can even give you a discounted Dragon Queen Alexstrasza.
That's true. That is true. Waxmancy opens up a lot of possibilities for this game.
Yeah, this is awkward. It kind of shuts off Amazing Reno because I think Eddie wants the value from the Galakron Hero Power, at least eventually. Maybe he's not worried about it because he's so far ahead in fatigue that as long as he just has an answer to every threat, it doesn't matter if he's generating value because he'll win through fatigue.
Precisely. His game plan is to hold on to Amazing Reno until Language Hacker plays Puzzle Box. But that's a very optimistic view to think that Puzzle Box won't outright kill you the moment it's played.
Yeah. How dare he?
Yeah. No respect.
Yeah. And Language Hacker knows that one's a backbreaker. He already saw Soul Mirror, so he felt pretty safe to not really play into it. But that one was generated off the Sethic Bellweaver that was played early in the game, so and he's been holding that one in his back pocket.
Alternatively, I think this is a good opportunity for Language Hacker to play his Amazing Reno. When he plays Amazing Reno, he actually shuts down the Solarian Prime because when it makes minions disappear, their death rattles don't activate. Their on-hit abilities don't activate.
I make everyone disappear.
And at this point, the way this game's going, he might need some help from the Amazing Reno. Actually, he does need help from the Amazing Reno. He's starting to run out of significant threats. He's got Puzzle Box. He's got...
All right.
Nice.
Wait, now's the time for the priest to generate that spell where they silence their own minion and summon a copy of it.
Oh, yeah. That exists.
Yeah. I forgot what it's called.
Me too.
But like the tempo priest, there's a couple of tempo priests out there right now that's trying to play like silent stuff or like Psyche Split to summon a bunch of overstated minions on curve.
You're in my
That card goes in there. Oh, he's gonna do it! Yes!
Oh, here we go!
It is time! Boom! Discover another puzzle box.
Oh!
Wait! No! He needed a whole lot of that. Oh, wait. He can get Jiraxis.
Head crack!
9 lives? Finds another Solarian? And he activates it so he has 2 in his deck? What? Wait. His demons are so powerful. What on earth?
Lord Jiraxis is also a way for him to kind of combat fatigue?
Yeah. He resets. So Jiraxis has a very unique interaction with fatigue in that I believe it resets fatigue, if I'm not mistaken, TJ. Feel free to correct me if I'm wrong.
I have no idea. Last time I played Jiraxis, I don't even know. Whoa!
Wait.
Oh, man.
That looks good, right? Rolling Fireball just kills everything on the board. Yeah, Rolling Fireball into I
don't know. Renew?
He was really hoping to get Puzzle Box, wasn't he?
Unsleeping Soul, Dan. That's what the spell is called.
Unsleeping Soul. He's gonna penance Mermy.
He needs to dump cards, I guess. I don't know. All right, let's see.
Is he gonna do a lot of damage?
See, Dan, this is how I always die. Burn
Frenzy
spells to the
Bellwing
face.
is playable, TJ. You know what that means?
He dealt damage to the face. Oh. Oh.
I mean, that's free.
What have they done to me?
So the challenging part now for Language Hacker is playing this Astromancer, the Solarian,
Killing it.
and killing it. Yeah. What is happening right now?
Okay. Whoa!
Oh!
Oh my
Wait.
god! Finally, 6 years after BlizzCon 2014, Pyroblast plus Frostbolt has equaled 15.
He was just he was predicting the future. That doesn't do
Wow.
anything.
Some pretty useless spells. Okay, well, we gotta kill that Solarian somehow. And Nightshade Matron discards the Jiraxis. That's what's really sucks.
Yeah.
I guess you could just Zephyrus.
It's a bummer that Jumbo Imp got discounted.
Oh, the Natalie Celine.
Okay.
And that Mirror Entity gets active.
He has,
Scary moment.
he has an ice barrier up, I believe.
Oh,
it's-
he does? Okay.
I think that was a secret.
Okay, I don't remember. So, Eddie might have lethal. I mean, if it's vaporized, he still doesn't have lethal.
Yeah.
There's the barrier, and he's like, ah! Wanted to end this game. There was a chance, too, that he had lethal.
Yeah, if you
He
attack with the
renewed
weapon
first.
first, yeah, and renew,
Yeah.
and like Apotheosis, Inner Fire, or something like that.
Yeah. Oh. Holy Ripper. Sorry, Holy Ripper. Master Spell actually silences Natalie to just be at 1 health now.
Yeah.
Huh. I guess he was going to use Death either way, so he wanted to pick a much more useful utility card.
Yeah.
Sick.
So much synergy with the Shadow Council.
Here we go, another Solarian
my
Prime.
God.
DJ, don't forget.
All right, this one's lethal.
As we finish Act 2, there is still the climax. The natty puzzle box of Yogg-Saron.
All right, so this will make Solarian Prime spells
Yes.
more like. Actually, no,
Or
they were
it's just
gonna...
lethal. Well, I don't believe the buff actually influences anything. For example, I don't think Jiraxis actually gains a fire attack weapon or extra health, but gets to chunk him. Also, when you transform, this is the same as for Major Domo, you actually lose the armor count as well. Very
Yep.
annoying.
Yep.
Now, Language Hacker can play Nightshade Matron with confidence.
Also, you can make
Also-
a 6/6 every turn.
Right. Wow,
getting
finally,
weird.
TJ, finally, Sacrificial Pact gets nerfed and Jiraxis is playable, right?
Yeah, it's playable, all right. does not need another apotheosis. That's for sure.
Time is running out.
What if he just plays Murzon? What happens? I haven't seen someone play Murzon in response to Jiraxis. You just get Jiraxis the minion?
I will act as your skin.
Takes the 6. TJ, there's a very realistic chance that Solarian Prime ends the game. Oh, TJ, what a game.
It's not
what
mana.
a game we have. It is cheaper.
I'm still stuck in your last question. I'm pretty sure it just plays it as a minion. Jiraxis.
Okay.
Because like Galakrond, you actually become Galakrond, but Galakrond's a hero card. Jiraxis is a minion.
Ah! He summons another minion through the Conjurer's Calling.
That also gains armor.
Okay, so you can learn Draconic.
So one thing to note is that I'm pretty sure. I don't know. There's 2 randomly generated spells left. He's seen both natural Shadow Madness.
Wait, he doesn't want to play the side quest? Oh, because he's keeping up as many free spots for Puzzle Box of Yogg-Saron to summon secrets?
Yeah, that's it.
This is a weird...
No, that was like the worst minion to get. To give him.
Oh, now he gets all of these lifesteal and armor.
Oh my.
The bully here is so much. He can Conjurer's Calling again. And then deal with the ramifications of it.
So the Rolling Fireball with the Solarian is 9. There's 13.
How shall I
So he actually doesn't need to play it in order to be able to clear both of these.
He can Conjurer's Calling his own Solarian.
Oh yeah, you can do that. Both Shadow Madness are gone, but at this point I don't think you can risk having one of these randomly generated spells, which...
Right.
There's actually
casually gaining 40 life, by the way.
Wow.
Yeah. Thank you, Solarian, and then you Conjurer's Calling it.
Well, there's no more randomly generated spells left in the hand.
Okay.
And both natural Shadow Madness are gone. Both renews are gone.
Whoa! Oh! The Madame Lazul can discover a puzzle box. He knows that a good portion of his hand are demons. He can also just play the Amazing Reno.
Yeah. Or Murzon if he wants a Astromancer.
Yeah, I just think you have to answer this board. So I was thinking Kronks plus the Lazul.
Yeah.
But you know the hand is full of demons.
Yeah. I guess if Murzon would also cast Rolling Fireball, and if it hits your Murzon, you're sad. That's a risk.
Time is running out.
It might be Amazing Reno, so you don't give him another Solarian Prime. Huh?
Watch closely as I make everyone disappear. No! I'm out of cards!
Jeez. Now I feel like Puzzle Box is a massive liability.
It's a last-ditch effort. I lose 100% of the time unless this Puzzle Box does crazy things.
Ha!
He spent all his mana!
The kid doesn't have no more mana! Forbidden Words picks the 10-10. Wow! If that happens like a couple more times, he's just dead. DJ, this game is the gift that keeps on giving. What are you gonna do with the Supreme Abyssal? It can't even attack face.
I know.
What's it going to do?
I'd rather play the Siege Breaker.
Yeah.
Because that Nightshade Matron also has. Oh no, Nightshade Matron the puzzle box. No.
Yeah. Rip it.
Oh.
I guess he could trade and then Conjurer's
Yeah,
Calling?
yeah, I think that's it.
Ooh, wait! That's not what he wants to do! He can't kill it!
He needs.
Wait, he maybe can. That's
Soul
one way
Mirror?
the language hacker could deal with fatigue. Oh, gosh.
Puzzle
what is
box!
happening? He's transformed into a mage!
He's a mage! Oh my
He gets
god.
mage spells! But he needs to survive this turn. That's the big problem here, right?
Yep.
The future is clear.
He's gonna look. He's gonna find another puzzle box in the hand. Okay, Conjurer's Calling, right? No, you still. All of these summon might bring back even more power onto the board. Okay, no need to overreact.
He's still not dead because the 14/14 can't attack face.
Yes, that's right. It can't attack heroes. Unless Language Hacker somehow has a way to silence it, but that is not possible unless he plays Puzzle Box. What?
This timeline.
I just want to point out that in this game, Priest is going to have a chance to play the same amount of puzzle boxes as the Mage. Okay. Okay. If you're Language Hacker, what do you do? Conjurer's Calling. Zeraku so that he can... I mean, it doesn't really matter here. It really comes down to one thing.
Puzzle.
And one thing
Priest
only.
playing puzzle box. What is happening?
He needs to.
Whoa!
Oh, geez. Now there's significant risk. If he plays the cheaper puzzle box, he might get enough mana to react to do something. If he gets Innervate or other things discounted in his hand.
What would make us
Is
rich?
Eddie going to greed this and not play puzzle box? He totally can. He can play Kronks, for example. Oh no, never mind. He's already transformed away. He doesn't have Kronks activated anymore.
Nope, he can't Kronks.
He's got a puzzle box.
Oh, here
Language
we go.
Hacker knew this was a possibility.
All right. All right. All right.
Language Hacker has left the chair. Just a little bit more, and he's there. Is that lethal?
He's
I
dead.
think that is.
He's dead. That's 4 fatigue. Right? It's 4 fatigue? Oh no,
3 fatigue.
He has to puzzle box himself.
TJ, what if this game ends in a tie?
Well, then Language Hacker wins the series.
If there wasn't a taunt in the way, Language Hacker had a chance. And Language Hacker, his minions are green, implying the game is over.
Holy Ripple.
Has to just avoid drawing cards. It drew a card!
Oh,
Barring an incredible last spell, that means he is dead.
no!
And just like that, Game 4 is over. We're going to Game 5, TJ. Both players need a moment. I think we do too, but that was a 45-minute game. And it did not disappoint.
Wow. Wow. This is Hearthstone, Dan.
To be fair, these are two decks that specifically do this as their win condition, which is to rely on cards not in their deck in order to win the game.
I mean, specifically relying on this. How many Solarian Primes were played that game? 4 or 5?
What's
four puzzle boxes were played, or 3 puzzle boxes were played?
Yeah. What's so incredible is that like it could have also come down to one more puzzle box from Eddie.
I know.
He had a second one in the hand in case he needed it.
That was insane. Craziest game of Hearthstone I've seen in
a while.
In a long, long time.
Yeah.
Long
that was
time.
silly.
Yeah, I would take that
silly.
over a priest mirror almost any day as well.
Great. That should be in your next hot takes video.
I don't even know which one Sato would choose, because I'm pretty sure he also hates mage mirrors, which is what that ended up becoming at the end. All right, now we get a nice little palate cleanser to finish off the series.
That's right. You know, now that the wasabi has been ingested, the very dank and funky wasabi, there's some ginger to cleanse your palate as we get ready for the dessert, which is Warrior versus Mage. Hope you enjoyed this 7-course meal. As we go into the last game, winner of this improves to a 3-1 record. The loser gets reset back to 0 effectively. When you go to 2-2, it feels like you're back in the same starting seat as week 1, except you have fewer games to kind of move up and down the standings.
Yeah.
So, you know, a lot of comfort whoever's able to take this. Looking at opening hands, things look pretty good for Language Hacker. So do Eddie.
Yeah, Reno can sometimes be a hit or miss card in the matchup, just because, you know, Renoing a Bomb Wrangler board is kind of weird, or Armor Smith. But there's a lot of boards that it just deals with very cleanly. So a key from Language Hacker, and Twilight Drake is just a very powerful, resilient minion that also activates Arcane Breath. Make sure you have that dragon in hand in case Dragon Caster plus Puzzle Box is an option.
Oh boy. Oh boy, you thought we were done. No. My dear nephew.
Got ourselves a Hearthstone game going on here.
This is just so...
I wonder.
It is quite ridiculous.
Someone's got to lead the charge.
One thing to know, Eddie has all 3 weapons in hand.
What?
Which makes Captain Greenskin quite good, but it also means that his Corsair caches in his deck are dead. Which is unfortunate.
I challenge you to Makara!
Well, it doesn't matter because Language Hacker has lethal next turn.
Yes, he does.
And I unironically think it's the best play almost no matter what. Especially when you're starting to fall behind it like this.
Yeah, there's 16 health on board. He has 14 damage. I could see a Reno.
Yeah, I could see a Reno. I could see an Escape Mana Saber here too.
Yeah.
Because if he saves the coin, he gets to like leverage it for other things too. Reno's very good in this position. I think that I would probably favor Reno.
Yeah, putting damage on the Warmaul Challenger actually has a good amount of value because it shuts off Eddie's ability to be able to like Inner Rage copy it or Inner Rage Rampage copy it. So,
you think it was worth trading and taking that 5 HP from Twilight Drake? Oh my!
Wait a second.
Oh my goodness! Never mind. Oh wow! That
Wait a
is
second.
A really convenient battle rage.
It dealt 9 damage to the Warmaul Challenger and 1 to the Sky Raider. That means
that is a statistical anomaly.
That means Eddie flipped 9 coins in a row and got heads all 9 times.
I don't think you were seeing something like that in a long time. Let me do.
I mean, that's
just
like
do some
that's a
quick
very
maths.
small thing in the grand scheme of things for this matchup, but that is bizarre. Ooh. Do you even have any pirates left? Oh, he has a natural Captain Greenskin.
TJ, to win 9
risky skipper.
50-50s in a row is 0.002%.
That's insane. All right,
It's
here we go.
2 out of every 1,000 games. All right.
It's time.
It's time.
Raw shock. All right.
Reasonable.
Nice. Rising winds. All right.
Reasonable.
Our draw. Glowfly swarm. Okay. Board build.
Order. Not really what he wants. Excellent. Wow. Right. No. Honestly, pretty tame.
That looked great to me. He drew some cards, cleared his opponent's board, built up a board of his own, and gained a bunch of health.
Yeah, it's just not, but it's also like completely reasonable for Warrior to answer.
Yeah, that's true. But just annoying, right? Because they have to use resources to do it, and that was 6 mana.
I wonder.
The risky skipper here does answer the board, and he gets the battle rage after.
Yep.
Someone's gotta lead the charge.
So now Eddie's kind of looking for big combo damage.
Right. I think we're past that phase of the game where Warrior can just win through pure tempo.
Imprisoned Observer and Escape Mana Saber. So the play stuck out to me the most. You can even like pre-hit the risky skipper.
Just gotta kill the risky skipper, I think.
Okay.
For one thing, it shuts off like a raw Grom.
Yeah, that's true.
The Graw mush. Alright. Captain Greenskin seems like a reasonable starting place, because then you can continue to buff. Although you still could do the same thing but set up another weapon. He's already drawn all 3 of his weapons with Anchor and the 2 live bar lances, so Courtier cashes out of the picture here. This is looking a little awkward here for the Warrior. A lot of nice support cards.
A little dicey. But Burst is starting to come in hand, and with all these weapon swings,
right, he'll be able to whittle it down slowly.
Yep. Ooh.
I mean, Dragon Queen is playable right now.
Yep.
I think it might be better to wait a bit, though.
If he clears off the Blood Cell Raider, he leaves 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 damage on board. He'd be effectively at 14. Which there's some things he would die to.
I think I like the ability to play Imprisoned Satyr this turn.
Yeah.
Or sorry, the
Observer.
Yeah, Imprisoned Observer, right? Imprisoned Satyr's for the Druid class. Because then what you can do is you can develop onto the board, play Frost Nova, then next turn play Blizzard, and then Prison Satyr clears it over 2 turns, and then you also got to develop again right after that. That sets up a clean, like, Alex Straza play.
Blizzard first would interrupt that chain that you were talking about, so yeah, I think Frost Nova makes more sense.
What have they done to me?
Yeah, this is a mark of a pretty experienced control player, like understanding that you can layer things throughout a few different turns. You don't have to rush it. Rosnova also does a lot to damage Eddie's potential develop because he's got 5 minions out of 7 slots, so he can't actually play too much more onto the board right now.
Yeah.
And so yes, he does have great combo potential, but he is limited in his play range. So for example, if there were 5 minions static onto the board, he can't actually play Bloodsworn Mercenary and copy something onto the board. Now we know that, of course, this board is going to get cleared.
On wings of evil.
Oh, wait. How nutty is this Evasive Draconid right now?
It's quite good.
Yeah, and I would say that the Evasive Draconid getting copied by Bloodsworn Mercenary is also pretty good. If he needs to, because...
Yeah.
Well, Eddie could just, if this board gets clear, he just has 2 Chlorocron Elites. 3 even, the Bloodsworn Mercenary.
Yeah, actually, if he sets up Livewire Lance, does he have lethal over 2 turns?
Sort of.
So
Flame Ward is actually very problematic for that.
Yeah, you would need Rampage.
So you want a Blizzard for sure. The question becomes Frozen Shadow Weaver versus Flame Ward. Frozen Shadow Weaver. And again, I don't think that there's an important... There isn't like the pressure you're trying to do with the Escape Mana Saber. I think we can hold on to this. In case we need an extra mana crystal to... I don't know, hero power? Maybe you need to maybe you need to Alexstrasza hero power, so it's like your best play. I like it. Eddie has 4 damage through the Chlorocron Elite. It becomes 6 through the Inner Rage, and if he copies it twice, that is 18. It's not enough. Language Hacker at 23, but the good news is that he can layer it over a couple turns. He's got Chlorocron Elite and Bloodsworn Mercenary twice.
Yeah, the problem is damaging the second one.
Okay, fair. He could also just Chlorocron Elite Goblin Lackey and then play Big Ol' Whelp. That's 5 damage, puts his opponent down to 18, and then has the Bloodsworn Mercenary Chlorocron Elites. Keep in mind, this all gets destroyed by the Flame Ward. Because Language Hacker, unless Eddie has a Rampage, which does also change the math a little bit, Eddie's first Chlorocron Elite that attacks in will just kill the other 2.
Yep.
What now?
This is quite a complex game state here, and I kind of like where Eddie's head's at. Oh yeah? I'm gonna play the Big Ol' Whelp here. Well, that's interesting.
Bomberang gonna make sense because the Imprisoned Observer's popping out next turn, so he'll get Boombot. Since he doesn't have Risky Skippers left, this is the only way to like reasonably get the damage in.
True, true. Oh, wow. He doesn't need it. It's like the really interesting thing. He can just like play Kartut Defender, Flame Ward, and Ping. This is, of course, because Language Hacker has understood that Eddie has played a lot of his power cards to gain tempo, and now he's going to be relying on combo damage. Eddie's like holding lackeys
What to do?
that he's not playing, despite floating a mana. So that's already a clue that he's combo-oriented. Another clue is that he's been holding certain cards in his hand for several turns and playing only the right side of his hand.
Time runs out on me.
I like it. Oh my god, there's an order. He actually missed the mana crystal.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. An uncharacteristic technical mistake here from Language Hacker. Unless I'm mistaken here, but I think he definitely missed out on that.
Yeah, it looked like he wanted to play Kartut and Flame Ward?
Yes.
Instead of Kartut Rising Wind? So Eddie,
It's a minor one, but it could be huge.
yeah, they're still not lethal. Language Hacker is effectively at 18, and the Cartoon Defender will absorb at least 5 more damage, so 23. And Eddie can't really split this much because he would need to use the Inner Rage to damage the Korkon Elite, and the Inner Rage would be like the only way he could reliably get through the Cartoon. So he's off, I believe.
Yeah, but the
By
Bloodroot
quite a few
Boot
points of
is
damage.
a pretty decent pickup here. And another thing to consider is that Eddie could just use a little bit of burst and then try to clean up with Grom too. He still has more range in his deck. It's not just what you see here on board. So you could use a Bloodthorn Mercenary here. Yeah. Looks like he is. He also gets to push damage to face, but is that a little bit too obvious? Oh, Eddie, that is so obvious. Okay, so now the entire dynamic of the game has shifted. This is basically Eddie playing face up with his cards. It's a good draw here for Language Hacker. The Arcane Breath could open up more plays. With the one Bloodsword Mercenary, though, that's got to feel kind of good for Language Hacker because you understand that the burst range is significantly reduced because they can't, like, double Inner Rage, double Bloodsword Mercenary.
Yeah.
Because that would be very hard to stop. Also, because you're ahead on board, the Amazing Reno here feels like a poor choice. Ancient Mysteries. He's already...
does he have Ice Barrier left?
Yeah, I was going to say, has he played Ice Barrier? If not, that is very good.
Seems good to me. Problem is, he doesn't really play anything along with it.
And Eddie... Well, now here's the thing. Oh my gosh, hold on. Portalum Program can get, like, Deep Freeze?
You're in my hands.
Oh, maybe, yes. He frees his own minion.
Wow.
Oh!
Huge moment.
It's freezing.
Now
enemy.
Eddie is off.
Well played.
He's got 4, 6. Oh, wait, the Rampage. How much damage is this?
Is it 24, though?
Oh, he thinks it might be Flame Ward. Because that's 20 damage. That's not enough.
It's not enough.
He was hoping for Flame Ward. He's like, wait, it's Ice Barrier. He goes for it.
And now Language
He's
Hacker
dead.
kills him with Alexstrasza.
Exactly. If he trades into this 5/5, there's 4, 10, 11, 14, 15. He's still alive.
Oh, if he had second Inner Rage, that was lethal. Through both, right?
Yes, you are correct. Oh, what a turnaround. Alexstrasza is guaranteed lethal. And one of the closest series you'll see in Hearthstone. That was so back and forth. Warrior has fallen. The first loss we've seen Warrior take it in a long time, and the Language Hacker is the victor at the end of the day, getting 3-1 record under his belt and improving his position for playoffs while Eddie is left in limbo.
That was probably a stressful series for both players. That one is probably tough for Eddie to swallow. And Language Hacker was incredibly nervous there at the end because Eddie throughout the world played the first Korkon Elite. He knew that the range of double Inner Rage Rampage Bloodsword Mercenary was exactly enough. But little short at the end of the day, and Eddie's like, well, this has to go face. This cannot trade into a minion. I can't play around Alexstrasza. There's just no way. I just have to hope that he doesn't have any healing, he clears my board, and then I draw Crom off the top of my deck and kill him, or a Kobold Lackey or something. So, big win, though. And like you said, Eddie kind of, back to square one, 2-2 record. And the last 3 matches are going to be everything for Eddie, being at an even score to see if he can pull himself into playoff range and try and avoid those, albeit very few relegation slots for Division A, but they're still looming. And 2-2 is not out of the woods by any means, since there's still a lot of Hearthstone left to be played for the players at the bottom of the standings.
That's right. That was quite a marathon of a series, and we are only a little bit past halfway. We got 2 more series left. We're going to take our halftime break, so a little bit extended. So after several minutes, we'll be back with more Hearthstone action. So stay tuned. We'll be back in just a moment.
Hearthstone Grandmasters is brought to you by T-Mobile. Rank up with America's largest 5G network. Switch to T-Mobile today.
Hey everyone, it is Gio with another episode